Hi, my name is Cody, and welcome back to the vid. Today we're going to be talking about endgame Crimebrand combinations. So let's start with the Enduras or the tanks. This combo would work with any of the tanks in the game right now. We have in-host name for slot 1 and 3, damage reduction for each enemy block, and take note, each enemy block. That is why we're partnering it with Creed of Bulwark for slot 2, which gives a Sinner an additional block. And as I said earlier, that is a general tank build that you can put into anyone. And of course, there are tanks where you don't necessarily want them to just tank. Good examples are Chelsea and Demon, where you want their skills to be available as soon as possible. On cases like this, they can also equip Tuning 0 for slot 1, where the Sinner gains energy after using the Chief skill, Hope for slot 2, where the Sinner gains plus 5 initial energy, and then lastly, Corridors of Echo for slot 3. And then there are tanks that has their kit revolved around healing themselves or the entire team. I like to call them Chonky Healers. Such examples are Kawakawa and then Demolia. It's perfectly viable to use Final Prologue on them to amplify their healing capabilities. And on the early game, you can just use Justice on any of them to boost the overall DPS of the team. Moving on to the next class that we're going to be talking about, it's the Reticle or the Marksman. The endgame build for them is to hit hard and to hit fast. Starting from slot 2 and 3, the Pandora's Cage is perfect for them as it gives extra physical damage on the third attack, and not only that, but it also gives an attack speed bonus on its slot 3 attribute. And then slot 1 is more of a flex option. You can put Tuning 0 if you want more skill uptime, or you can go for Premonition for more burst. And then another great endgame option for them is Year 1 Perishing Star. It offers great stat boost at the cost of not being able to move, so you've really gotta be careful if you decide to put this on your Sinner. And then up next are the crit-based marksmen such as Flora, My Queen EMP, and then Roleka. The best in slot for them will be the Reunion Day as it gives more crit rate and energy recharge. Alternatively as well, you can use Shackles of Life if you don't have it yet. And then lastly for Summer, even though she is a reticle, her drone is still considered as a summoned unit. For slot 3, Creation is a must for her as it gives the drone individually a 25% more damage. For slot 2, Hope, the faster that she can summon all of her drone, the better. And that is why slot 1 would be Tuning 0. In the future, this slot would be replaced by a Crimebrand that gives energy but more focus on summoned units. But that brand is not out yet as of the moment, so I'll cover it once it's out and how to obtain it, so make sure to sub so you won't miss that video. Anyway, for the early game, all of the Reticle may use East Side Dream because their main damage comes from their basic attack. Moving on to my favorite class, which are the Umbras or the Assassins. You normally want them to have their special available as soon as possible, as frequent as possible to deal with all of those core breaking stuff. All of them would benefit from Tuning 0 slot 1, Hope slot 2, and then Echoes of Corridor slot 3. For crit-based assassins such as the Motorcycle Ninja and Tetra, Reunion are the best in slot for them. For Bai Yi, you can go for Shackles if you prefer consistency in terms of damage output. And then lastly, we have the Burst build, which is perfect for Sinners who likes to move around and break some cores like Labyrinth or Gekabijan. I know I'm butchering the name. I'm sorry if she's your waifu. Anyway, slot 1 would be Premonition, slot 2 will be Singularity, attack speed is increased after moving, and then for slot 3, Corridors of Echo. And then in the early game, the Umbra can use East Side for DPS or Justice for utility. And then for the next class, we have the Mages or the Arcane. In the endgame, Mages generally use the Skill Uptime build, which is slot 1 Tuning 0, slot 2 Hope, and then slot 3 Corridors of Echo. And then the next type of endgame build for the Mages is the Kick Him While They're Down build, which focuses on using the ult on enemies who already have their core broken. Embrace of the Dead is used here, and it would work with any of the mages. An exception for this one though would be Luvia, as her kit revolves around dealing critical damage. The endgame build for her would be Shackles of Life. And then we have Stargazer. A standard summoner build would be tuning 0 for slot 1, hope for slot 2, and creation for slot 3. And then for our next class, it will be the catalyst or the supports. Starting with the healers, we have Macchiato and then Ariel. The best in slot for them, it's a no-brainer, it's going to be Final Prologue. But for Hamel though, you can be extra spicy and use Scarlet Bewitchment on her. You get an easy stack for the damage increase since she cannot attack or block in the first place. For the supports that doesn't heal such as Chameleon, Mr. Fox, and then Lisa, you want to use their skill most of the time. Actually no, you want to remove them from your team. Why the heck are you even using them in the first place? Kidding. The skill up them combo would work on them, so tuning 0 for slot 1, hope for slot 2, and you guessed it, echoes of corridor for slot 3. And then another viable build that you can do for the catalyst, any of the catalysts, is tuning 0 slot 1, and then for slot 2 and 3 you can use Paradise Regained for added core breaking utility. And then lastly, this is the home of some of the best sinners in the game. I'm talking about the Fury class or the Warriors. They are the most flexible role in the game, and I put them here last because they can borrow or use any Crimebrand combination from the previous classes. You want them to tank? Then you can do these. You want them to DPS? Then do these. You want them to deal magic damage instead so that you don't have to build another magic team for broken frontline? Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. So that is it for the endgame Crimebrand combinations. Know that there are no perfect one build for them. It all depends on what you want the sinner to do. Anyways, as always, this has been Codey. Thanks for watching. Peace out.